Happy Wednesday, everybody. Thank you for joining, or for those that are joining later. Hope you guys learned something. And if you have any questions, please let us know. But I am April Ranallo with Fairway Independent Mortgage. I am a residential loan officer that can help you purchase or refinance in all 50 states. And today we're going to give you some fantastic, or I should say Dominic is going to give you some fantastic information about reverse mortgages. Reverse mortgages are a product that has been around for a long time that can help the population that's 62 or older. But with baby boomers starting to retire, changing the market, it's becoming even more popular, more crucial, and more important to help you grow your business. So with that, Dominic's going to give us all the things we need to know, myself included. So I'm going to let you take it over. Thanks.
Yeah, before I pull up the presentation, I want to give two quick stories, which I think sort of, maybe three stories to talk about why reverse mortgages. But I want to talk two of them that are very realtor specific, and then I want to tell a third story of things that have happened here in the last couple of weeks. So first of all, whatever you see today, you might scratch your head and go, April, Dom, I need more information. I don't think I got it. Just full clarity. I had to see this 5 times before I understood. So, and maybe I'm just slow, but that's usually what I'm hearing. I'm hearing people anywhere from 3 to 7 times before they really get it. So I had a realtor who went to a training that I gave. He went to 3 of them. He still wasn't getting it. We met in Monticello, Minnesota here a couple Fridays ago for actually donuts, great little donut shop in Monticello at 8 a.m. And we went through it again. He goes, I think I got it. By 3:30 that afternoon, he had a listing signed off the information. He got a listing that quick. I had another realtor I've been doing business with, I don't know, 5-6 years up in the Maple Grove area. And he brought a realtor, just full disclosure, next month will be 25 years of me being in the mortgage business. I absolutely am passionate and love about it. She showed up at my training and she goes, call me a whippersnapper, basically. She's been in the business 50 years. She started in her 20s, she's in her 70s. And she is worried about how she's going to have enough the income she wants between now and April when spring buying season starts. She wrote down 5 names of people, and this is about 2.5 weeks ago. So we're on a Wednesday. So maybe it's actually 3 weeks ago. I don't know what day of the week it is, April. But anyway, 3 weeks ago, she wrote down 5 names that she was possible. She picked up 2 listings, one from a client in their 80s and one from a client in their 90s. Now, with her, it's from her database. Okay, just so we're quite clear. These are all people she's done business with for years. But the point is, if you are looking to make money right now between now and April, you want a market that's a great place to go. This is it. The average between the sale, the listing, and the buy again with the 62 and older crowd, my experience of my realtors that have done this is 1.1 million. So let's say you're making 3% on that 1.1 million. Not bad money, 33 grand, right? If you do 3-4,
I can spend 33 grand.
I would find a use for it. I'm not sure what, but I'm sure you'd find a use for it. But you do 3-4 of those, you're talking 100, 120,000. Now, maybe you don't make 3%, maybe you're paying a percentage of that out. But the point is, this business is an 11-month-a-year business. There's 30 days of the year that this business is very, very difficult. And if you can make it happen in those 30 days, I'll be happy to buy you dinner. Whether you're April's realtor and I'm not working with me at all, that's okay. But here's the deal. If you can get business between Thanksgiving and Christmas, new business, good luck, because most of the 62 and older crowd wants to meet their children and grandchildren during that period of time. So I haven't ever had success. The other 11 months a year, though, if you think you cannot find business in January, February, absolutely incorrect. These listings can happen in January. It's a fantastic time to take advantage. The third is, as a company, we celebrated Juneteenth on June 20th this year. And so I gave my team off. I was hanging out in the office. Thought it was a pretty casual day of catch up. I'm sure we've all had those days. And I was supposed to have a lunch appointment at 1 o'clock. At noon, my phone rang with a financial advisor, frantic. And I'm like, what's wrong? He goes, you got to teach me about this whole purchase deal. I don't get it. And I'm like, okay, what? Well, my team will be back tomorrow. Let's schedule a Zoom tomorrow. No, it's now. And I was like, okay. What is so critical? He goes, here's the problem. My clients, I know what they're going to sell their home for. We got an offer on it. The realtor says it's solid. And they know what they want to buy, and they want to take almost $150,000 for the difference between what they're selling and what they're buying for out of their investment accounts. And I said, okay. Again,
Let me guess, because they want to buy the new house in cash.
that's correct. Very correct, April. Absolutely.
Yep.
But when the financial advisor goes, well, they're deploying it out of tax qualified accounts, that means that they're liquidating about 200,000 to get less than 150. And I'm like, yeah, that sort of sucks. He goes, well, you haven't really thought this out. He goes, a year ago, because of what they're invested in, that 200 was almost $300,000. But since the market's down, if they'll leave it in the marketplace, they'll be back to 300,000 in a few years, in his personal opinion. That's his opinion, not mine. I'm not a financial advisor,
Right.
but they're now a client and they're buying, putting a $150,000 reverse on the home. The rest they're bringing in for cash. And the bottom line is these clients, we saved them potentially $300,000 that they would have spent in spendable dollars. This is why we need to understand this product, because what we're going to do is life changing, and the ability to make these people offers and give people the ability to make this happen is just fantastic. So the machine.
I'm going to chime in here and there. So basically, the great takeaway from that is that instead of them paying cash, because all of them want to pay cash, they can choose when they use their money in and out of the market, right? So when the market's up or down, they can have their financial planners are going to be happier. Other referral partners for you guys as well, because they're going to help. You're helping them help. You're helping the financial planners help their clients. And
I will say that to me, the number one thing is if you have financial advisors in your sphere. I don't know why it's giving me the print below, but that's okay. But if you have a financial advisor in your sphere, you should be calling those financial advisors because they do not want their clients liquidating for purchases right now.
No, that's not.
It's immediate business. And my question as a real estate professional, why are you not using why do you not use reverse mortgages in your practice? And you know what I have up there is the three things that I've heard most often from polls. They don't always talk to their senior clients. Every once in a while, they might use it where there's a need. Really don't think they can help the clients with the reverse. Because a reverse for purchase, every time that one of my realtors makes an offer using a reverse for purchase, and they say it's FHA and it's 50% down, the listing agent immediately thinks the buyer's agent's an idiot and doesn't understand FHA's 3.5% down.
Right.
And it's 50% down. So I always get to educate the listing agent, because the reverse mortgages offered in Minnesota and Wisconsin, the only reverse mortgages are the FHA product. Now, that being said, I know April's has a license in many states, so do I. In other states, there are other reverse mortgages. So if you're talking to your realtor friends in other states and they go, man, this guy didn't know what he was talking about, there's other reverse mortgages, not in Minnesota, Wisconsin. In these states, that is it.
I know a lot of you guys are on the East Coast. A lot of you are down in Florida, even have the West Coast. Just happy to fill you in on what products are available over there as well.
And Florida is fantastic. I do a lot of purchase business in Florida. And you know what I was saying, 1.1 million? Down there, it's usually 3 to 3.5 million between the buy and the sell.
Well, why? You mean everybody retires in Florida? Shocker.
And somehow the home values down there just are a little better than Minnesota, you know?
Yeah, right.
So I want to always talk about why people sometimes don't purchase with a reverse mortgage, right? First of all, people will say closing costs are too high because there's an upfront FHA fee with the reverse mortgage. Now, if you know the traditional FHA mortgage, it's 1.75. With the reverse, it's 2%. It's actually not that much different, but everyone seems to be like, what's this 2%?
Yeah.
And guarantees that you can never get upside down. There's a non-recourse loan for your client, so the debt cannot fall into a care center. The kids cannot inherit the debt should 2008 occur and they end upside down. Too big of a down payment. It actually allows the seniors a chance to be able to buy more home. Because here's what happens quite frequently. I'm going to stop sharing for just a moment. I'm going to come back to this. But what happens quite often, and I can't be passionate about this enough. Let's say you live in a $500,000 home and you got it paid for. And you talk, and the client comes to you and says, I want to look at homes. Well, now let's call it 7% to sell. Okay. 7 times 5, you're looking at what? 40, we got 35,000, right?
Yeah.
So 465 is what you're going to clear. If you go show that client $465,000 purchases, they're going to hate them, all of them. because our perception of our $500,000 home, it's nicer than anybody else's $500,000 home. And now you're trying to sell them 465. So what you got to do on that listing appointment is you have to ask them what is going to make them move. Why have they not moved? Because here's the statistics. And this is why I think it's crazy if any realtor is not looking at this today. 42% of all owner-occupied homes in the United States is 62 or older today. And you know when retirement peaks in the US? Somewhere between 2041 and 2043, depending on medical advancements. This is an 18-year run. Now, where April and I are sitting today, even though we do business in other states, I think we're sitting in Minnesota. I assume April is. I know I am. But now in Minnesota, because we don't have as many retirees up here, in January, we're going to hit 38% of owner-occupieds in this state. But it's 42% nationwide that are owner-occupied that are 62 or older. On top of that, we know 27% know that they will move again once they turn 62 that have not moved already.
Makes sense. And
there's about another 5% that will move that are aware of it. So you take 33% of 42, you're talking 13% of all owner-occupieds in the nation already are prospects right now. That's 1 out of every 8 owner-occupied homes in the nation. Are you starting to see why we're excited about this market? If you're not excited about 1 out of every 8 homes being in this market, I might need to send a little oxygen to you. I mean, I don't know. It's a fantastic opportunity. So I'm going to get back to bring the PowerPoint back up. I just want to make that point without the PowerPoint there, because I feel like we don't understand the size of the market. Because I had a realtor saying this morning, but Tom, it's just a niche, and I don't know if I do niches. And I said, so I did the math with him. And I said, 1 out of 8 niche.
Decade niche.
Yes. This is a 19-year-long niche. And by the way, it's going to get bigger closer you get to retirement. Depending what state you're in, you're going to end up between 45 and 48% of all owner-occupieds being 62 or older by the time we get to 2041. By the way, that is an estimate. Who knows? People could die, things could change, but right now that's what it looks like. So if this is not part of your business, my recommendation is take advantage of this. Plus, you're going to get the sale, and in most cases, a buy, right? Better yet, let's take this one step further. Let's say that you do have a $500,000 sell, and let's say they decide to only buy for $250,000 and they use a reverse for the other part. Now they got $250,000 in cash laying around. Do you think you might be able to find a condo in Florida or Arizona they could buy with that $250,000 for cash, put it in the kid's name, avoid inheritance, and now you got 3 transactions: the sale, the primary purchase, and an investment property purchase or a second home purchase? I'm telling you, this is a golden business. 11 months a year you can do this. So the only reason I'm not trying to throw the numbers to get anyone complicated. I want people to understand the size of the market. Because a lot of times people go, well, is the market big enough to get me excited? I don't know. This market to me is very big and it's exciting. And here's the other thing. You know where usually these come from? It comes from your clients that you already have clients, and you ask if their parents or grandparents have ever thought about moving. Then you go out and you make a listing appointment. Now, do you think if the kids or grandkids made the referral to you, do you think you have competition for that listing? No.
No, because the kids and the grandkids are the ones that are probably handling all the business, or a big chunk of it anyways.
Exactly. There's no competition. And Fairway is the #1 reverse mortgage purchase company in the nation. So most other lenders don't have this, which means you don't have other lenders trying to recommend their realtors to this client.
Oh, yeah.
So now you really are protected. This is your deal. It's fantastic. I like to always point out this slide here. It's a perfect storm. 10,000 people a day are turning 62. There's fewer pensions defined benefit plans. Right now, stocks, bonds, they're not in a good place. We are obviously talking here on so July 13th, I believe today is 2022. The inflation just came out today, and we're over 9% inflation. So incredibly high inflation eroding people's investments. 76% plans to delay retirement. By the way, I'm going to tell one more quick story. I know you're probably going to get tired of these stories, but I feel like stories talks louder than all these presentations. Here's a client I picked up today. And by the way, if you know a couple where the husband made significantly more than the wife, you need to talk to them before the husband goes to the care center. I got this call this morning. Husband just went to the care center. Wife wants to sell and buy herself a one-level townhome, but they don't have much left for investments. So Medicaid is going to put a lien against that house relatively quick. I'm not sure we can make her income work because once the husband goes to the care center, his social security check, his pension check now gets allotted to the care center, cannot be used as income because it's an income-based loan as a 2014. If you go on Google search this loan, you're going to see some places that says it's not income-based. That was prior to 2014. 2014, the world changed, became income-based. The challenge is if we cannot get this purchase done very, very quickly, the sale and the purchase, Medicaid will put a lien against the house and the deal will be dead.
So,
Where if they put a reverse on the house, Medicaid will be in a third lien position and she will have full access to the equity. We're protecting the wife. And yet so many people are afraid to talk to elderly couples because here's what the couple says to them. We're making $60,000, $80,000 a year. We're fine. You cannot accept that as the reasoning. You got to ask, who's bringing in the majority of the money? April, who do you think brings in the majority of the money most of the time?
most of the time it's the husband, especially with this age bracket that we're talking about. This is the world of pensions and wife was a stay-at-home mom or whatever it may be.
And 3 out of 4 times he goes to a care center before he dies. And now all his income gets allocated to the care center and she's no longer living on 60 to 80,000. The wife is left with a lot of times $700 to $1,100 a month. So she's living on $8,000 to $12,000 a year usually. And now she is broke. And Medicaid's going after the house, and now she will live in poverty the rest of her life, where if we had put her in a reverse, she would be living a good life off the equity of the home. When he passes, his income would come back to her, and they'd be in great shape. And you would, as a realtor, have put her in a one-level townhome or a condo, and she would be living a great life. Physically better, financially better, and living independently instead of having to worry about either the government taking care of her or her adult children. And this is why this product has such a great impact. Does that make sense?
Well, and you guys, I mean, I can even talk like my grandpa's 98, right? And when my grandma passed, the way he had set up his pension was they were expecting him to go first. Most expect the husbands to go before the wives. It's just the way, whatever genetics is. And he had set it up where his pension was to be 75% paid out if she passed first. Luckily, that's what occurred. If it had for some reason been the other way around, it would have gone down to 20%. My grandma had no money at all.
And that's the exact point.
Yeah.
We need to help
That
these
would
people.
have been all that she had.
So you see the statistics on the screen. As of January this year, the number one place that the 62 and older crowd has money is in their home equity. It's just surpassed their 401ks. It surpassed their IRAs. So this market is phenomenal. It's a right market to take advantage of. And it's a fairly easy market to get into. All you got to do is call your current sphere or database and say, hey, your parents or grandparents, have they ever thought of moving? The only correct answer is yes. Everyone's thought of moving. Doesn't mean they will move, but they've thought about it. So now you just got to say, what are we going, when can I go out and talk to them about when the day comes that they will move? And here we see where the projected changes in population are going to be. Okay. And we're still at the end of that, 2024. We're not quite there yet. And you see it in that older demographic. That's the baby boomers. This is an incredible marketplace. It's an opportunity where very few realtors are going. And I don't know if you're watching us today, if you have the senior designation. If you have the senior designation, I would love for you to get in contact and tell us what you're doing with the senior designation. Because I find a lot of realtors get the senior designation and don't work the senior market. And if you're working the senior market, this needs to be part of the package.
Yeah.
And by the way, we do have scripting that you can actually use. We can actually tell you exactly what to say, how to make this happen. So don't feel by any means that we won't help you. If we're looking at the different age groups, age 62, you need about 60% down, age 72, 50%, age 82, 40%. The older you get, the less down you need because it's all based on longevity. And obviously you're getting closer to death, so you need less down.
So if I'm buying a new house with a reverse mortgage, this is the down payment I need?
Whether it's, a different house, that's correct. This will be approximately the down payment you would need. Now, this does change as interest rates change daily, April. And this, so keep in mind, this is today. A week from now, 2 weeks from now, the numbers could definitely be different. But again,
well, you may get into this, but when people that are utilizing, and I know for the realtors, this may be for something for you guys personally to know, but a lot of people use reverse mortgages for refinancing just so that they don't have monthly expenses. Okay, so that's a really good topic on this product. Then the equity is not needed as high, correct? If you're just refinancing an existing home?
nope, equity still needs to be this high.
Still needs to be high. Okay, good to know.
Yeah, it doesn't change. The equity position on whether it be a refi or a purchase are the same.
Okay, perfect.
And keep in mind, a lot of my purchase business that I've been able to refer back to realtors. And by the way, as a realtor, if you haven't done a reverse of your own, I can't speak for April, but in general, I know that we typically don't refer out until you've had a reverse done. And the reason is because you need to know how to handle that client, and we coach you through that first closing. April does a fantastic job, but the point is that you need to get through one of these. But a lot of the purchase business that I've done has came from people who call me for a refinance. And my first question is, are you in the right home? Are you going to be in this home 5 years from now, financially or physically? And April, over half the time, I get told no.
Right.
They're in the wrong house physically or financially, and they know the next 5 years they have to move. Well, actually, they need to move now. You just have to convince them of that. So you just got to move up the timeline.
They haven't figured out how to go through their 3 decades worth of stuff.
Yeah, that's always a challenge. I cannot kid you. So this will help you in purchasing power. It gives you an example of the money needed for the different age groups. So, if you want to get a snapshot of this PowerPoint page, it's a fantastic way to get an idea of what money's needed for the different purchase prices. So keep that in mind. Again, great opportunities all the way across. Here's a little scenario I like to run past. 20% down payment. Your payment's going to be, $2,155. Now, these are on old interest rates. This was done this spring. Hasn't been updated, but 3.5% interest rate. Obviously, we wish it was 3.5%. Sitting here in July.
We all know it's changed.
Yeah, it's 5.5%, 6%, maybe 6.5% when the day gets done. I don't know, and I don't really care. Again, when I bought my house, my mortgage rate at first was 10.5%, and I had great credit. People congratulated me on that rate. So that tells you how old I am. But cash purchase, or you take out a reverse mortgage payment. You put down $349,800. You can take out a $250,000 loan at 62, and you never make a mortgage payment the rest of your life unless you want to make one. And
actually, I'm going to stop you there for a second because let's just talk about that really quick. And once again, I may be jumping ahead. Couple key points on a reverse mortgage, you guys. A person takes a reverse mortgage and does not make a monthly mortgage payment. That is why it is so key for retirement, because we all know cash flow is low. Social Security, pension, it's not enough to survive on nowadays. Kids are helping pay groceries, utilities. You eliminate a housing payment, correct me if I'm wrong, Don, they don't even, like the reverse mortgage will take care of property taxes, homeowners insurance, correct?
No, will not.
It will not. So you pay your escrow, but only your escrow, no principal
Well,
interest.
there is no escrow. You pay your property taxes in whenever it's due in your state. You got to pay it out of pocket. You got to pay your homeowner's insurance out of pocket. Same as if you own the home outright.
And so you're just not going to have the big portion of the loan payment, which is obviously principal interest.
Right. It's an optional loan payment. You never need to make a loan payment unless you want to make one. And it would be just principal and interest payment. Although when you first make the payments, it is applied towards interest first. If you have a financial advisor and you have tax qualified accounts, you're going to want us talking to your financial advisor, because by using a reverse for purchase, you can save yourself tens of thousands of dollars in income taxes. If you have tax qualified accounts, I'm not getting into that today. Way too technical for this presentation. I'm saying if you have a financial advisor or you have a CPA you work with, you want us involved. If you have tax qualified accounts, to get them involved, to have that discussion so they understand how to guide you to save thousands of dollars in income taxes of the federal government.
Nobody wants to pay Uncle Sam.
In my 6.5 years of operating reverses, I've actually had 2 clients say that they'll pay the taxes. They think it's their civic responsibility to pay taxes. So it does happen actually, April, believe it or not. So
Occasionally, it doesn't surprise me. Okay, moving on. So I'm getting a house. I'm not having a mortgage payment. I'm liking it so far.
yep, that's exactly correct. And again, Leo, let's say that you have a younger spouse. That younger spouse gets to live there as long as they are alive. Okay, you get to live there as long as you are alive. The reverse mortgage expires at 150 years of age. Nobody has made it there yet. So keep in mind, no matter what happens, you now have a place to live where you never have to make a principal and interest payment unless you want to make one. But you do have to keep current on real estate taxes and homeowners insurance.
Okay.
If you own a home outright, April, and you don't pay your real estate taxes, what happens?
The state will take it back and gladly sell it and take all your money.
That's correct. The state will foreclose on you. So if you do not pay your property taxes and you have a mortgage, the mortgage company has to foreclose first. And that's why if you look online, you see some stories from the past, you'll see foreclosures. Well, if you read in the fine print in those stories, you'll see that the client had quit making property tax payments. So the mortgage company had no choice. That's why you see a lot of the big names in the mortgage industry no longer offer reverse mortgages, and why it's now an income-based loan. And as I said, probably 15, 20 minutes ago, you have to take this loan out when the income's still there. Do not wait till the higher income earner has went to the care center or in some cases died and there might not be enough income to qualify. Here's another scenario. Again, they could buy a house for cash for $225,200, or they could buy a $400,000 with $225,000 down. And this is why the average in here in Minnesota is about 1.1 million between the buy and the sell, because you get so much more home.
Purchase prices are so high. Like you said, what they expect for 500 is not what they're getting. And they may be downsizing, meaning one level, smaller space. Doesn't mean the price is downsizing by any means. In fact, a lot of the single level townhomes are way more expensive than the home that they've been living in.
Only twice have I had a purchase client buy a less expensive home. Every other time they've bought more expensive. It's always been less square feet, by the way. They've never went up in square feet, but they want the nicest finishes. Because usually what they're moving out is what I call the teenage home. That was the big home that maybe didn't have the nicest finishes, but it had all the space for the teenagers. And usually they still have that home. It's 3,500 to 5,000 square feet usually. And they're selling it to get into something, smaller as far as square footage, but they want the nicest granite, or they want marble, or they want the best electronics, and they want the nicest wood finishes. They want this to be the nicest home they've ever lived in. Well, maybe not the largest. Again, another example, $198,000 down, buying $375,000 instead of buying $400,000 for cash, giving them more money in their pocket. Fantastic opportunity. So here's the reasons households choose to move. Wanting to be closer to family. April, when did you get in the business?
1999.
So April was 2 years behind me. I was in 97. Yep. And April probably can tell the same story I will. Coming in the late 90s, back then the adult children, when they had their kids, they moved back next to their parents. Today it's the exact opposite. 25 years later,
yeah.
The adult children's parents moved to where the adult children live to be near the grandchildren. Wonderful opportunity. Wanting to reduce home expenses right now in this time of inflation, there are people begging to try to figure out how to reduce their monthly expenses. And this would be easy listings for you and easy to get them into a home that's one level that would reduce their monthly expenses. Fantastic opportunity. And by the way, get to them before the bankruptcy start. Unfortunately, nationwide, 21% of credit cards are maxed. I get a few friends who are bankruptcy attorneys. They expect next year to be one of their best years for personal bankruptcies. Mm-hmm. If somebody files bankruptcy, they will not be able to get a reverse mortgage for a couple of years. So you want to get to them before they are in that financial state. So this is a great time to be out talking to the 62 and older crowd. Change in health status. That's a big one. I have that all the time. If you have family law attorneys, divorce attorneys in your sphere, get in touch with them. The silver gray area is the biggest percentage of increase in divorces. So you really want to take advantage of it. It's where the family law attorneys are spending more and more time. 27% have not yet moved but anticipate moving. That 36% that does not anticipate moving in retirement, about 5, 6% of that are actually going to move. And then you have 37% that have already moved. If you are not looking at this market, you are passing up dollars and business every single day. It's a fantastic place.
Well, and there's a lot of people that are in this retirement age that say they wouldn't move or don't want to move because they don't think it's possible, because they know they can't get the house and afford it and the payment, not realizing that this product is available to allow them to just put themselves in a better situation.
That's exactly correct. Yeah. And I'm going to go back to this again. I talked about it a little bit at the beginning, but I want to emphasize this. This is an owner-occupied loan, so this has to be on your primary residence. Well, let's say you come up to somebody who they're happy living in their $600,000 home, but they really want to go buy a cabin on a lake. They want to go buy a condo somewhere. Do a refi on their primary using a reverse so they don't pick up a mortgage payment. They don't affect their monthly cash flow and their lifestyle, and then go pay for that other property in cash. Ooh. And I've done a lot of that. Here's another one for you to think about. And unfortunately, now, April, I'm actually speaking to 2 retired female groups coming up. So I hope women start taking advantage of this. So far, it's only been single guys who've taken advantage of this. But we can use this loan to buy duplex, triplexes, and quads. So if you come up to and it's been men who I've helped do this, but guys today are struggling. They don't have enough money to really pay their bills. They sell their primary home. We help them buy a triplex or quad. We haven't done it with a duplex yet. We've done with tris and quads. Now they get to collect rent off those other units they're not living in, and they don't have a mortgage payment. We just financially change their life by thousands of dollars a month. I'm telling you, there are so many seniors we can help with this program, and we don't take advantage of it. It's absolutely a shame. You can always keep the title to your home. You do not give up title. That is the #1 misperception. People think somehow this is just a loan against your home. You're not giving up title.
Yes. What do y'all hear, Don? Oh, if I do a reverse mortgage, my kids are not going to get their inheritance.
And here's the funny thing, April. You want to know how I can make sure the kids get the biggest inheritance possible?
Yes, I do.
The parents die the day I'm talking to the adult children. Okay, until they realize that, the adult seniors need to be able to live. Now, if they actually have assets and we have them live off the reverse, but we're talking about purchase today, so I'm really going into refi there. But if they were going to live off the reverse as a refi and kept their money in investments, I actually show adult children a lot of times using software that I have that they'll have more inheritance, not less. But if they are using this for purchase and they don't have a lot for inheritance, I always say, life's expensive. How are your parents going to live? They're spending your inheritance. So unless you want your parents to die today, yeah, you're gonna have less inheritance. You're right, they're spending it.
Or the thought process is what if the kids don't have the money to help the parents out? So by them utilizing a reverse so that they are reducing their monthly expenses, it is actually saving the children from having to try to figure out how to help the parents out to survive.
And the funny thing, April, what you just said there, the adult children bring me more referrals than anybody else. And here's why. The adult children are afraid of 2 things. One, they're afraid that mom and dad are going to fall down that stairs. They're going to fall through the deck that's gotten spongy, that hasn't been repaired well. They're afraid something's going to happen in that house that's really unsafe. Or they're afraid that they're not going to be able to, maybe the icy driveway that is a hill, all that fun stuff that's dangerous. They're afraid for their parents' safety. Second thing is they realize that parents are burning through cash because they now have a house cleaner coming in. They got a handyman coming in. They got someone trimming their trees. They got someone mowing their lawn. They got someone removing the snow, and it's gotten expensive.
Right.
And they want to get lower expenses, and they want to save the money so they don't have to write checks. Exactly what you just said. And those are the 2 primary reasons that your sphere ask them about their parents and grandparents, because a lot of them are worried about what's coming. And you can help take the pressure off. So April, excellent point you made there. And this never requires repayment until the last borrower permanently leaves the home or they choose to sell the property. It is a federal government loan. It's an FHA loan. You can never own more than the home's value. FHA picks up the difference, should become upside down. And of course, we've already talked about what down. So we're going to skip through that a little bit, skip through that. I want to stress again, 1 to 4 unit properties, because I don't think we think creatively enough many times. Manufactured homes, we can do that. Double wides built after 76. Condos, they do have to be FHA approved. So you want to make sure you get in contact with us to make sure that the condo is approved before you make a purchase agreement offer. Townhouses. And are you licensed in Texas, April?
I am not personally licensed in Texas now.
Okay, I'm not either. If you are in Texas, talking to one of our Fairway loan officers in Texas, both parties, if they're married, have to be 62 or older in Texas. And everywhere out of the other 49 states, only one party of the couple need to be 62. By the way,
you could be on the loan with only 162.
That's correct.
Got it.
And by the way, we can do non-married people as long as they're both 62. I've done a number of those, so that's no problem. And by the way, most of the time that we can finance inside of trusts too, but our trust department at Fairway has to review the trust documents before we can absolutely declare that. But usually we can finance inside of a trust. Now, something to be aware of. There can be no seller concessions with a HECM for purchase. No lender credits, no realtor credits. Sellers can pay for the owner's title insurance, the home warranty, and the state and local transfer taxes, but that is it. Now, here's a funny unbeknownst thing. April, you know, with FHA loans, we're supposed to always sort of see the home inspections, just FHA loans in general. April, when's the last time on a traditional loan you asked for the home inspection?
I tell them they're going to get in really big trouble if they ever send me one.
Okay, so here's the deal. If there is a home inspection done, we're supposed to see it. We usually don't know if there's a home inspection done. If you do a home inspection, we do need to see it if we're aware of it. So just be aware of that. Earnest money, everyone knows what earnest money is. You do have to call this an FHA loan. You do have to say you're putting 40, 50, 60% down. And it's very important to have your lender speak to the listing agent. There is a builder program here. So if you work with a builder and you want to, they're building senior type properties, this is a fantastic way for you to get those listings. Everything today is about putting more money in your pocket. So, hopefully you're seeing that and hopefully you reach out to get those questions answered. There will be a financial assessment done. It's not debt to income ratio like a traditional loan. It's more like a ledger sheet. And I will tell you, a lot of women on their income alone will not qualify. I still tell 8 to 10 people a year that they will not qualify for the reverse. And unfortunately, it's always been a woman. And that's the baby boomer market. Now, the Xers, when they come along, and the Ys, that's going to be completely different. But right now, the baby boomers, a lot of the women work part-time or they were stay-at-home moms. So it is critical to get to them quick. So just be aware of that. We are going to look at how they pay their bills, but this is not a credit score loan. So just be aware of that.
So the credit score doesn't matter what it is?
No.
Perfect.
But we are going to look and see how they paid their property taxes, homeowners insurance, all that. If they are paying things late, there's going to be something called a set aside. And we're going to take their average life expectancy, and then we're going to put all that into what you would call an escrow account. It's called a LISA. That can be literally tens of thousands of dollars. Because if your real estate taxes are, let's say, $3,000 a year, if your homeowner's insurance is $2,000 a year, it's $5,000. And if you're going to live 15 years, that's $75,000 in a set aside. So now you obviously have a lot less home you can qualify for. This is an FHA loan. I've talked about that. It's tied to the Treasury. Another scenario there.
So let me look at this sscenario. Let's go back. I want to talk about just a real simple, let's kind of recap on that.
Yeah, I talked to a couple of them earlier. Here we got a 75-year-old client, sells a client home, pays off a $200,000 mortgage, so they get $500,000 in cash. They find a new $500,000 home that they want to purchase. And they put $250,000 down. And because of their age, it's about 50% down, $249,500 for a HECM. Now they have about $250,000 to do what they want with: travel, buy a car, do whatever.
Like you said,
clients are happy with the realtor and the loan officer. Absolutely, they are.
Time to live their life.
Correct.
Nobody wants to be house poor. I don't care if you're 22 or 72.
That's exactly correct. And again, one more scenario, and then I think we're gonna, wrap up. If there's questions, April, you can ask whatever you would like. Anybody else
Perfect.
may have questions? But here's another example. Both age 62, they sold their home, net proceeds were $250. They have no other assets. They want to live near their grandchildren. They found a townhome lease listed at $300. They don't want to pay cash, do not want a mortgage. Max amount available to purchasers is $125,000, $100 based on the buyer's age. They can bring in as little as $174,900, which allows them to have $75,000 left down here at the bottom. And again, we're giving them $75,000 to spend. We're reducing their monthly expenses. We're putting them closer to the family, and we put them on single level living, so it's better for them physically. And it really encapsulates all aspects of why you would do this program.
We're not that far off of COVID. I mean, I know that half of me thinks it was years ago and the other half just thinks we're still in it, right? But there's a lot of people that relied on their businesses being sold or, being higher value to retire. And COVID wiped their businesses out or completely depleted them. So what they counted on doesn't happen, okay? The other thing I heard once that was a great line about a reverse mortgage was, we spend our entire lives putting money into a 401k so we can cash out on the 401k when we retire. Why do we not do the exact same thing with our homes? We spend every single month making a mortgage payment to pay our house down, to build all that equity, so that we should be able to use it in retirement. But that is a piece that we're not doing. Reverse mortgages on a home is the same as utilizing a 401k. So it's just a different way to kind of think about it.
And what this slide is showing is, you pay into the Social Security, the pensions during your working years. You expect to get it out. You pay into 401k, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, life insurance, savings accounts. You expect to get it out. And then your third savings account is your home equity, bucket 3. And nobody really has a plan for their home equity. Ask anybody what's your plan for your home equity? No one has an answer. No one's thought about it. But 99.5% of the time, the adult children sell it as soon as the parents die. It's just a bucket of money to the adult children.
Yep.
So if you can get the clients to see it as a bucket of money, you will just have picked up a listing and a purchase.
Well, thanks, Dominic. I'm sure we got a bunch of people that are probably even more confused, which is great.
Well, but you know what? Then they'll call and you have all the answers, so it's fantastic.
Yes, exactly. But I appreciate you taking the time today to give us a little run through.
Absolutely.
To get our feet wet. There's, I know, so many more presentations and information, and I will definitely probably do another reverse presentation in relation to refinances just for the general public on how they can stay in the exact home they're in if they don't want to leave that home, but still utilize a reverse to not have a mortgage payment, cash out, home improvements, even safety proofing their home, that type of thing. So that will be at a later date. And I hope everybody has a fantastic day.